Such is the power of tornadoes that all sorts of myths have arisen around them. A common one has it that tornadoes never strike cities. This has been disproven time and time again, but nowhere more spectacularly than Miami, Florida in May 1997. TV weatherman John Gerard saw it forming.
I noticed these very, very dark clouds, and there was a bit of rotation. So we ran outside, we turned on the studio lights, I put my tie and my jacket back on, and this is where it gets really interesting. It makes my hair stand on end because it's one of the most exciting weather days I've ever had.
It's no longer a funnel cloud, it is now a full-scale tornado. It's hard to say exactly how strong. Looks like about an F0, maybe an F1. And getting stronger.
And I was trying to describe what was happening as if we were color commentating a football game.
You folks right there get to the first floor immediately because trouble is on the way.
Horrified workers in this building watched the tornado approach.
As our attention was drawn down to the ground level where the tornado was doing the damage, it was, of course, far below us here. And so we had a most unique vantage point.
The tornado first touched down in the residential area of Little Havana.
The energy of the tornado becomes so focused, so wrapped down to a small drill bit. I remember very well my concern as it approached the highway that it might overthrow cars and throw them off the elevated highway.
Orlando Mora used to live in these apartments. When the tornado struck, he had just gotten home.
I was reading my mail and I heard a noise like a train was coming. Then all of a sudden, glass was flying round the room. I dropped to the floor and put my hand on my head. Everything in the room was turning. It was very dark and then very light. It all happened in 10 or 20 seconds. This was a small tornado. If it were any stronger, I wouldn't be here today.
But the greatest spectacle was yet to come as the tornado left dry land and plowed into Biscayne Bay. It became a waterspout.
That's where the tornado came right in through. And right where the construction site is where the circular motion came, but the mushroom oversought this whole area. And as you look at this causeway, it was really neat to look at because all of the cars were stopped. Buses and cars stayed up on here, and people were all out just gawking because nobody had ever seen one.
As the waterspout crossed the MacArthur Causeway, bus driver Hugo Louison and his 80 passengers came face to face with it. All he could do was pull over and pray to pass straight over them.
It then picked up off the water right over the Venetian island and just dissipated and twirled its way back up into the heavens as gracefully as it had come down from over here during its birth.
As well as tornadoes and waterspouts, Florida is routinely hit by other extreme weather. It's one of the lightning capitals of the world. Lightning strikes and extreme heat start over 2,000 forest fires every year, destroying up to 500,000 acres of land. The state also suffers up to 10 hurricanes a year. Such natural disasters cost hundreds of millions of dollars. But even that can't compare with the havoc caused in 1999 by the most costly twister ever known. The tornado outbreak in Oklahoma in May was to bring unparalleled destruction to the state. The most deadly tornado of all was tracked and filmed at close quarters by Jeff Petrowski.
That particular day I was on the road probably about 16 hours and covered about 750 miles that day. I was all over the state of Oklahoma virtually. I'm going to be south on 62.
Jeff's skill lies in his amazing ability to predict the unpredictable. More often than not, he's at the right place at the right time.
We didn't have a storm exploding. They had a rotating wall cloud, and it was starting to drop to the ground just west of I-44. And then a few seconds later, the tornado started coming down to the ground. That was the first tornado of the day, just north of Lawton.
As Jeff approached the small community of Chickasha, he could see 2 tornadoes.
And it literally came right at me. Golf ball hail's falling. Tornado weakens as it crosses Highway 9, gets just north of me, intensifies again, and then all of a sudden I see 2 tornadoes on the ground again, and then it merges to one big tornado, and then it goes and hits the Chickasha Airport. Oh my God, it's done major damage. Oh my God. Oh my God. Break. Major damage at the airport. I repeat, major damage at the airport. It's leveled entire buildings. It's leveled entire buildings.
Jeff realized he was tracking a major tornado. It was almost a mile wide.
It's the biggest tornado I've seen in 23 years out here in the plains of chasing tornadoes. And I knew at that point I had a really bad, sick feeling in my stomach that something really horrible was going to happen. It was getting bigger and bigger and meaner as it moved northeast.
Jeff was literally racing the tornado. Containing winds of more than 300 miles per hour, the tornado was charging towards Oklahoma City. Jeff did all he could to save lives by sending radio warnings of the terror about to hit each community.
As it's moving into the subdivision, I'm on the radio with the amateur radio with Norman Weather, talking about where it's located. Tornado continues to come into more, and it's just a tremendous roar. Southwest 134th, approaching Pennsylvania. It's getting ready to come into a subdivision on the southwest of that intersection. It's coming into the subdivision.
So any stations listening in that area take immediate precautions.
By now, Jeff was in great danger himself.
It's crossing eastern right now. And as it turns right here, I'll stop right here. Stand by. There it goes. Telephone poles are coming crashing down beside me. I realize I'm too close. I've got to back up. Northeast, it just took up this whole area.
Jeff's chase lasted well into the evening.